I'm Larry Myers, and welcome to Motoworld. It's always a shame to see a brilliant athlete's season come to an end due to an injury. Motocross star Rick Johnson has become a victim of that unfortunate fate. It happened in Gainesville, Florida, and we'll talk to Rick about the injury and how it will affect his '89 season. That's a little later in the show. Right now, it's time to turn our attention to Rick's last outing before the injury. Round 6 of the Coors Extra Gold Super Challenge, part of the Camel Supercross Series right here in Atlanta. Of course, we were on hand to record the action, and as a matter of fact, because it was in our own backyard, our cameras worked overtime recording Supercross extras. Later in the show, you'll see what I mean. But first, let's take a look at a couple of the series stars. Heading into the Atlanta round, defending Supercross champ Rick Johnson had won 5 in a row to easily lead the series. In second place was Honda teammate Jeff Stanton. Now, Stanton and Johnson are best of friends. That friendship ends, though, when the starting gate drops.
Rick rides 100% the whole moto, so I've been practicing that way all week long, and that's what I'm going to have to do is go out and get a good start and just ride 100%. If that takes a riding over my head with my feet off the pegs now and then, I'll do it, because I want to win. I want to win bad.
With the main event underway, Stanton was in good shape to make his wish come true. Johnson was several positions off the pace. All Stanton had to do was pass another Honda rider, Guy Cooper, number 10, and that's where the fun began. In this corner, a semi-sweeper, Stanton pulled even with Cooper. Side by side, the pair of Honda riders scrapped for the slightest advantage. Stanton, with the best line, emerged as the leader. Now, just a couple of corners later, the same scenario. Stanton and Cooper side by side. And Cooper regained the lead as Stanton ran off the track. When Stanton re-entered the track, he was joined by Ron Lechien, number 4, and 1986 Atlanta winner Rick Johnson. Johnson wasted no time passing Lechien, and that gave the Big Red Wrecking Crew first, second, and third. 2 laps later, the Johnson Express, with a perfectly executed pass, took over the number 2 position, and he set his sights on Cooper. The Oklahoma rider held Johnson off for a couple of laps, but the momentum was on Johnson's side, and he was not about to be denied. With that pass, it would normally be over. When Johnson gets the lead, he seldom makes mistakes and has almost never passed back. But watch what is coming up. Stanton on the left of your screen and Cooper on the right both passed Johnson. Cooper, unfortunately, was not on his motorcycle. The Honda rider was quickly up, but the damage was done. Meanwhile, RJ was hot on the rear wheel of Stanton. In fact, a little too hot. Colored Johnson down and Stanton gone. The Team Honda rider snapped Johnson's string at 5 and, with a checkered flag, had started one of his own. For his outstanding performance, Jeff Stanton is our Castrol Rider of the Week. The Team Honda rider from Sherwood, Michigan, will receive a commemorative plaque from Castrol and a monogram jacket for being named Castrol Rider of the Week. After 6 Coors Extra Gold Super Challenge events, Rick Johnson, with 5 wins, leads the Camel Supercross point standings. Atlanta winner Jeff Stanton is second, followed by Guy Cooper in third, and Frenchman Jean-Michel Bayle is fourth. Ron Lechien rounds out the top 5.
Team Suzuki presents the Motoworld Suzuki Event Calendar. A look at some of the major events coming up in the world of motorcycles and ATVs.
The Coors Extra Gold Supercross Challenge, Round 8 of the Camel Supercross Series, heads to Tampa, Florida for Saturday night action. March 25th is the date. Tampa Stadium is the site. Round 1 of the World Championship Road Racing Series takes place in Suzuka, Japan on March 26th. Suzuki's Kevin Schwantz is the defending race champion. And Suzuki National Road Racers will have a full weekend of racing on 2 different California tracks, April 1st and 2nd. Willow Springs International Raceway and Sears Point International Raceway are the sites.
Still to come on Motoworld, we'll talk to Grand Prix road racer Randy Mamola. We'll spend some time with some of the stars of Supercross as they help promote themselves as well as the sport. And coming up next, Round 1 of the outdoor motocross season, plus...
Hi, this is Rick Johnson, and stay tuned for more Motoworld. We'll have the good news and some bad news from Gainesville, Florida, so stay tuned.
As I told you at the top of the show, Rick Johnson is now sidelined with a fractured wrist suffered in Gainesville, Florida. The Honda star and his fellow motocross competitors were in Florida for the traditional season opener of the Outdoor National Motocross Series. Mark McKay reports on Round 1 of the 125 and 250cc championships.
This will probably be the most important scenario this year in motocross. Rick Johnson getting attention from a paramedic after a practice crash. The diagnosis was a fractured wrist. Surgery was performed in Florida to insert a pin in his wrist. The Honda star will reportedly be out of action for up to 6 months. Goodbye, Supercross crown. While Johnson made his exit, others were making their debut. Defending 125cc champ George Holland was the most notable. Next to Holland, number 45, Damon Bradshaw. Most feel Bradshaw will unseat Holland from his throne. Moto number 1 did nothing to alter that opinion as Bradshaw blitzkrieged the competition. Holland was off the pace all day and could only muster a 5-4 moto finish. Fortunately for Honda supporters, California's Mike Kradowski took up Honda honors in Moto 2, grabbed the moto win and the overall victory. Bradshaw was credited with 9th in Moto 2 after crashing out late in the going. He still earned 2nd place overall. In the 250 class, the story was twofold. First, the return of Jeff Ward after an ankle injury suffered at the Anaheim Supercross. With Johnson out of the picture, Ward becomes the clear-cut favorite for the 250 crown. Unfortunately, no one bothered to inform Jean-Michel Bayle of Ward's title hopes, which was the second story. The French 125cc world champ stunned the Gainesville crowd by beating the American stars on their home soil in Moto 1. Number 7, Jeff Stanton, was impressive, finishing in the runner-up position in both motos to net a 2nd overall. Ward, meanwhile, upheld U.S. honor by taking the 2nd moto. Still, Bayle, with a 1st and 3rd, was the star and the overall champ of the day. 5-time motocross world champion Roger DeCoster has been pumping up Bayle as the best in the world. After Gainesville, his argument holds up a lot better. But one race does not make a champion. Reporting for Motoworld, this is Mark McKay.
After Mark McKay filed that report, we decided to follow up on the status of Rick Johnson's injury to find out what is the long-term prognosis. Here with that update is Dennis Torres.
As Mark McKay reported, Gainesville, Florida was the site of what will no doubt turn out to be the most important incident in motocross this year. No pictures exist of what happened, but RJ gives us his interpretation of the sequence of events that led to the fractured wrist.
Well, what happened was it was in the 2nd practice in Gainesville, Florida, and I was racing around with Danny Storbeck and my teammate Jeff Stanton, and I went off the left side of a jump, and when I landed, Danny Storbeck landed on my back right side, and it pulled me off my bike. Danny seems to feel that I crossed in front of him, but I don't think he meant to do it on purpose. In fact, I know he didn't do it on purpose, but I just came out with the short end of the stick.
Always in top physical condition, RJ will not sit back and take it easy during his enforced layoff.
Well, I'm going to try to concentrate on continuing my weightlifting and also do a lot of cardiovascular bicycle riding, but I'm going to just play it by ear and just take each day as it comes.
Rick Johnson was putting in a dream year prior to his accident. His goal to win 3 national titles will be put on hold indefinitely. Still, the Magic Man has come to grips with this cruel twist of fate and looks beyond optimistically.
Well, when it happened, I was crushed. I cried like a baby because not because it hurt, just because I see all the people that work with me and work so hard to help me get to where I'm at, and that's all come crumbling down. I've had almost a picture-perfect year in Supercross so far, and that's pretty much washed up. But the way I look at it now that I've had some time to think about it, is I've always put my faith in God, and this is just something that's going to work out in the better for me in God's big picture for me. So I'm not worried about it. Like I say, I have put all my faith in God anyways, so I know it'll work out.
Many people have said many things about Rick Johnson, but no one questions his grit. He'll be back soon. The fire that burns within will fuel his recovery process.
Don't relax too much, guys, because I'm going to be back stronger than ever. This is just one minor setback for the bad boy. So, see you later.
Even though it looks as if the Magic Man will not win the Supercross crown, we'd like to applaud his efforts up to the point of his injury. The 24-year-old rider gave his fans some of the most thrilling memories in the history of the sport, and that's something they can never take away from RJ or his fans. Hurry back, Rick. We'll miss you. During that time, he has earned the unofficial title of Most Popular Rider. One of the reasons for that distinction is his work with the Save the Children Foundation. Dennis Torres has the story.
It's an unlikely location to find a Grand Prix superstar, but then again, Randy Mamola is not your average GP star. Throughout his career, Momola has dazzled fans with his antics on and off the track, while earning a reputation as probably the best rider never to win a world championship. On this night, Momola was headlining various acts to help raise money for his favorite charity, the Save the Children Foundation.
I believe that children deserve the same chance that I had. My parents were very good to give me a chance to make something of myself at 12 years old when I started racing 17 years ago. And I think that every kid deserves a chance, and there's a lot of children that are homeless or without food and so on. And so I started supporting a charity in 1987 for the world, and Save the Children is that charity.
Grand Prix aficionados probably detected another GP personality at the comedy club, none other than Kevin Schwantz. The Suzuki ace was on hand helping Momola and company raise close to $10,000 for their cause. We took advantage of the fact that we had Momola in a festive mood to ask him about his recent test session in Brazil. Reports from South America indicate the Cagiva, now riding on Michelin tires, is a much more potent force.
You know, with the 1989 bike, we're quite a bit lighter. We're quite a bit more responsive as to turn left to right. The acceleration pattern is a lot better. And with the Michelin tires, we're very consistent. Now we have a tire that's very consistent, that's been around a long time in racing, and therefore I can produce my motorcycle to do something that I want it to do. And down in Brazil, we were running the race record lap times. And in fact, 2 days later, Gardner was out there testing. My lap time was a 1:27.7, and Gardner's best time on a new Honda was a 1:27.5. So 2/100 seconds was not very much, and we have a lot of other things up our sleeve.
Loyal, talented, with unwavering fan support, Cagiva is lucky to have such a virtuous athlete on their side that transcends his sport. Reporting for Motoworld, this is Dennis Torres.
The subject of this week's Coors Behind the Scenes segment is off-roading. More specifically, the official press introduction of a new and improved off-road motorcycle from American Suzuki. Chris Larson reports.
You're looking at the biggest reason why the job of off-road magazine editor is a highly sought-after position. How many other jobs offer you free trips to do what you do for fun, ride motorcycles? Someone else's motorcycle at that. The folks fitting the bill on this day were American Suzuki. The occasion, the press introduction of the 1989 RMX 250 off-road motorcycle.
American Suzuki recognized the need for a bike that's real versatile for all types of competition and trail riding. With desert, enduro, and hare scrambles in mind, this bike should cover it all. It's got the latest technology in the engine. It's got the latest suspension. We developed special off-road tires, a lot of testing for the off-road tires, special valving in the front forks and the rear shock. It's just a real versatile bike, and from the trail rider to the serious competitor, we feel this bike's going to fill the needs for everybody.
After a few days of familiarizing themselves with the new Suzuki, the magazine editors came to agree with Holcomb's assessment.
It's a fantastic bike, phenomenal suspension. It's really plush on the rocks and roots and stuff, but it'll still take the big hits well. And lightweight and excellent power, real tractable. It'll just derby over stuff that, unbelievable.
Some of the features of the RMX that should attract off-roaders like flies to honey are a quick-release rear wheel, mechanical odometer, extra-large capacity gas tank, and an O-ring seal drive chain. Also, the RMX fits all EPA standards, so you can ride legally on any trail in the country. Not only has Suzuki come up with a winning motorcycle, but have come up with a support plan to make off-roading accessible to the novice rider as well as the pro.
This is basically enduro ready. No lights, flywheel, O-ring chain. The guy can go to his local dealer, buy it. The dealer can set it up for him. He goes to the off-road races, enduros, hare scrambles, whatnot. They've got a great contingency program this year. Support vans, the whole 9 yards. So just basically buy a bike, go to the races, and you can make some money too with it.
Reporting for Motoworld, this is Chris Larson.
When Motoworld continues, we'll head back to Atlanta and give you a little taste of what goes on the day before and the day after a Supercross. Keep it tuned to TNN's Sports Sunday lineup.
This week's Alka-Seltzer Rough Ride of the Week belongs to this Supercross rider. After that, he definitely needed that Alka-Seltzer Plus relief. The same relief that puts your cold to sleep fast.
Welcome back. As I told you at the beginning of the show, Motoworld cameras worked overtime during Atlanta Supercross week. Coming up, some of what they recorded. We'll start by going back to the stadium for a quick look at the 125 class.
At the opening round of the Eastern Region's 125 Supercross Championship in Miami, Damon Bradshaw fell twice, was as far back as 18th, and still managed to win.
I feel pretty confident. I kind of put that behind me, and I look forward to this week, and the thought of winning last week's not even in my mind. You know, I just have to look on to, this race here in Atlanta.
Forward indeed. Bradshaw got the whole shot, and the rest of the pack had to look forward to find him. In fact, they looked all the way to the checkered flag. In the winner's circle, Bradshaw on the right was joined by Suzuki's second-place finisher, Ty Davis, in the middle, and Mike Kierdowski, who finished third aboard a Honda. And because they're not old enough to drink it, our 125 heroes shared their bubbly with the paying fans. Now let's look at some pre-race fun. It starts at your basic open house autograph session. On hand, Team Suzuki's Ron Tishner, Johnny O'Mara, and the Dean of American Riders, Bob Hanna.
I do this strictly to have fun, to spread the fun through the industry, and to let the young kids in the area have a chance to meet the guys who've made it big in motocross.
When the pens ran dry and the posters ran out, the parking lot was turned into an impromptu racetrack. The vehicles of choice? Well, would you believe unicycles with training wheels? Meanwhile, across town, there was a full moon, and it brought out all of the crazies.
Motoworld #1.
No, not them. They obviously know what they're talking about. But check this guy.
Freewheeling Honda was having a contest to see who would do the craziest, wildest thing, and they was going to offer us a bike. So I said, I'll do that. I'll do anything for Freewheeling Honda.
Now, would you cover your body, hair and all, with peanut butter and roll in cornflakes just for a motorcycle?
We just tried to dream up something that would be a lot of fun and get a lot of people out and have some fun with. So this is what we came up with.
Now let's head back to the stadium for some post-race entertainment. The dirt was already there, although it had been altered from the Supercross motif of the night before. So why not use it?
If that thing had a dorsal fin, it could be Jaws 5, the land shark. Before we leave you today, a Motoworld program note. On March 26th and April 2nd, we'll have highlights from Daytona Cycle Week 89. Enjoy all the road racing, Supercross, and happenings that have made Daytona an annual rite of spring for motorcycle enthusiasts. Again, the dates, March 26th and April 2nd, Daytona Cycle Week 89. Until next week, hello.